again, Down Under Football Crew Mondays. You know what it is. You guys are here. It's been absolutely mad this morning. Honestly speaking, I did not prepare for the Nuno sacking. Obviously, we all knew the news was happening and whatnot, and I didn't even have a thumbnail. Initially, it was just all about Premier League weekend recap and whatnot. And then luckily, Scott just messaged me literally about 20 minutes ago saying, hey, this guy's sacked. I had to quickly change everything around, and here we are. Here we are. Nuno is sacked. This is how fast Premier League moves. And on top of that, Antonio Conte is imminent. Like, apparently it's in final stages. No. Okay. Well, this is what Fabrizio Romano is saying, but let's see where it goes. Scott's got a few things to say. But before we do any of that, live chat, you guys are buzzing. Close to 20 people already live as soon as we've hit the live button. Please smash the like button. I think, as I've always said, the aim of the game will be 100 likes for the stream, which will be fantastic achievement. And also check out the boys and their socials. Please, guys, all the information's in the description. Let's help the boys out. They're close to what? You guys close to 400?
Just over 400. Just over 400.
Let's try and give them as much as we can, guys. You guys have been following me for a long time. Follow the boys as well. If you're here for the first time as well, subscribe to both our channels. And without further ado, RJ, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. I know some people that might be new to the channel thinking, wow, you got Nuno on the show already after being unemployed. But look, in all seriousness, for me, Miz and Scott, Monday, kickstart the week. Blues continue to do what we do. It's good to see my mate Scott looking fresh, feeling happy that his Gunners are on, continue their winning ways.
Gunners are doing good, man.
For me, man, it's just crazy. I can't believe it's already November. We're already, crossed the quarter mark of the Premier League. And all the headlines are really starting to heat up now on managers. All the talk was Ollie out, snuck under the radar. Poor old Nuno, no more for Spurs.
I can't believe this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How is he not sacked? And Nuno's gone, and Conte is going to Spurs when those heavy rumors that Man United was maybe, I don't know whether it's true or not. But I can't believe Ole. I don't think he can be sacked, boys. I really don't think he can be sacked. He just finds a way. But Scott,
he's a machine.
He's a machine.
They've done it again. Tottenham Hotspur. They've done it again. Mate, boys, I'm on cloud nine. You can see I've got this nice streak of light coming across my face. It's the gods smiling upon me because Arsenal are in form. Spurs are bottling it and becoming an absolute shambles. United are keeping Ollie. All is good in the world at the moment. I'm stoked they haven't sacked Ollie. Long may he continue. The guy's a cat. He's got 9 lives.
I can't believe Man United. They're going to struggle. And I know, Scott, you're happy, and most of us are very, very, taking this in a banter sort of way with Spurs. But Antonio Conte should not be taken lightly.
It's not happening.
This is a serious. Oh, it's not happening. Okay, Scott's thinking it's not happening. But if it does,
it'll be dangerous, Miz. If it happens, they will be a lot more difficult than what they have been. Put it that way.
They should not be taken lightly, and I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane comes out flying the next game. Absolute flying legs everywhere. Do you know what I mean? But before we get into that, nearly 40 people live already. This is fantastic. Smash the like button, number one. I've seen many people say he 10 away from 8K. I'm literally 10 away from 8K. So let's do that. Let's get to 8K, which would be great. And massive shout out to the live chat. Let's do a shout out, man. There's so many people here. Banolo, my man, thank you so much for joining. MCIG, good to see you. I generally see you for the watch alongs. It's really good to see you here. Roby, my man, is he? Justice is he? It's been a long time, Justice. Good to see you. Jaswant, my man, is he from Melbourne? That's good. By the way, Jaswant is another Aussie, fan of ours. So he's from Melbourne. Jonathan Jitro is here. Vernon is here. Musaholic is here. Alex Abhishek Matthews is here. Aka, good to see you. Come on, you Spurs. Spurs fans are here. Good stuff. Mohan is here. Who else we've got? Advaita is here. Hamza ALK9, good to see you. Spo Genius is here. Oh, that's just a load of people. This is good. Andre is here as well. Great to see you guys. Hope you guys really enjoy this show. Let's get this rock and rolling. Scott, let's talk about the Nuno situation first before we talk about the Antonio Conte, whether it happens and whatnot. We'll see. I don't understand why he's sacked, to be honest. Look, obviously I'm not a Spurs fan, so I don't know the ins and outs of what their fan base is feeling. But I must say, after just 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is, it's been since he's been hired, and I know he wasn't the first choice. I mean, give the man a chance. I know he hasn't been doing well. 3-0 loss against many teams out there, but what were you expecting? I don't understand. You didn't really purchase heavily during the summer. Your players are not playing well. Harry Kane is a shadow of a player. So you've screwed up, but now you're finding an easy way out with Nuno. So I'm a bit lost with this. Like, what were you thinking with this whole appointment?
I'm taking the Arsenal hat off. All right.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
I don't want to hear any Spurs fan banter, but to me, and I've been thinking about this a lot over the last few weeks about what makes a manager, what keeps a manager in the job, because we know Arteta's been close to the end a couple of times. We know Chelsea's philosophy on managers. Ollie has 9 lives, and now we've seen Nuno get chopped. For me, I think it comes down to what are the ambitions of the board and how is the manager performing in regards to those. Now, for me, I look at Man U, and I'm going to use Man U to make my point on Spurs.
Yeah,
I feel like Man U's ambitions are just have a spot somewhere in Europe, and they'll probably get that. So the fact that Ollie's hovering where he is and gets spanked by Liverpool doesn't matter too much, because they must still have confidence that he'll get them into Europe and they'll have the cash. I look at Spurs and I can only think that Levy and the board had ambitions that are much higher. To me, the board should be accountable for this, because we all called this. We knew this was going to happen. You cannot keep your club captain, violate a gentleman's handshake agreement that you've made with him, and expect him to come and be a talisman for your team. Now, if they had a backup striker of quality, it wouldn't be a problem, because you'd bench Kane and you'd start that. But they need Harry Kane as their primary attacking outlet. They have set Nuno up to fail for me. And I'm not worried about Conte. I'm not worried about Conte going in, because Kane doesn't want to be there. It's not about the manager. It's about the club. Kane does not want to be there.
Could change if Conte comes in. Conte demands respect.
They won't hit the top 4, even with Conte. You could put Pep there now and they're not going to hit the top 4.
Do you reckon Conte will have no effect if he comes in?
He will, but they're not finishing in the top 4, Miz. There's no way. They are too shambolic. And they bottle it. At the business end of every season, Spurs bottle it. It's what they do. Conte might improve them. They've been awful. But Harry Kane wants to be playing Champions League.
Players, by Scott. It's just they haven't been performing.
Who is?
Son, Harry Kane. I know Harry Kane hasn't been playing well, but that's a world-class player, Harry Kane.
Don't count Harry Kane. Don't count Harry Kane. He doesn't. He does not want to be there. It's like, think about your work, Miz. If you hate your boss, you hate what you do for a living, you're going to rock up to work and you're not going to be anywhere near as productive as if you love your job and you feel like you're going places in your job and it's an ambition.
I think it's slightly different though here, because I agree the boss is the board. They're the ones who pay the wages. But I think by bringing someone like Conte, who's been there, won that, he's someone that could get into Harry's ear and say, look, you might want to leave. Fair enough. I wasn't here for the gentleman's agreement. I'm here now. I know how to win. I've done it. Follow my way. You're going to get the best out of yourself. Back my project. When we go far, then at least you can maybe leave on good terms, because I know how to get the best out of my players. You've seen me do it with your rivals. So I think, look, top 4 might be a little bit a bridge too far, even at this stage of the season. It's super early. But I think him personally, I reckon someone like Conte could get those boys firing and make them a lot more competitive, because someone like Conte, we know how much of a tactician and a hard taskmaster he is. He's not going to take any rubbish from these players. And with players like, you said Son and Kane, I'm more excited to what he could do with players like Højbjerg and Lo Celso and really getting those players. You know what I mean?
Ndombele, Højbjerg.
Exactly.
You got Romero
Tanganga at the back,
defense.
Romero. It's, you know what I mean?
They look bad right now because of... for me, Nuno was never a bad manager, but for him not to get something out of this particular Spurs side was a bit surprising for me. But it makes me think this Spurs side just didn't take him seriously enough. I think someone like Conte, if it happens, these players better shape up, or else Conte will not have otherwise. I mean, just to go back to Scott again, let's argument's sake, let's say if Conte does come in, you don't see some of these players respecting Conte a lot more than what they've been doing with Nuno?
Of course they should, but I mean, Nuno's not, and with all due respect to Mikel Arteta, he's still a novice manager. You look at Lampard when he came in, I mean, he managed in the Championship, I would still say a novice manager. What right do these Spurs players who haven't won a trophy before have to disrespect Nuno, who, achieved the same with Wolves that they achieved with Poch? They never won anything. They bottled it. They let Poch down, those players. Those players are not big game players. You listed a whole bunch, and there's plenty of talent there. But they're not going to be competing with Chelsea, Liverpool, City. I don't think they've got enough to beat United. Like, we smashed them. I just don't
get that they won't be winning stuff, Scott, but they've been a team that's been quite fixed in the top four under Pochettino, during that particular period, and then obviously going into the Champions League finals. This particular team just feels that, well, what has Nuno done? Like, has he got experience to chase for a top four? Has he got experience to bring them back to Europe?
Yeah, look,
I think that's where maybe the difference maker was.
It's interesting, but you boys know this, having, supported a club that Conte managed. Conte came in and he knew there was money. He knew there was money at Chelsea, and Roman will back his managers. I have seen nothing over the last 10 years that tells me that Levy is going to back a manager. Levy. I don't see him backing a manager. Conte likes money. He comes in, he puts the players he wants, he'll win, and then he'll go. And he'll leave it potentially in a bit of a state. I don't see him being financially backed, not to the extent where he's going to beat Chelsea or City or other clubs to big signings.
Of course.
I don't.
But I think that's the point, Dan. I think that's someone where, if you know that they're not going to spend the money, he's been sitting there looking at this team thinking, I can get better out of this squad than what Nuno's getting under the way I like to play things, because let's face it, they're not a Norwich side. They've got some quality across the board here. And with the way that he's the pragmatic back five style he plays, and it's a different way that we do it, I think what we'll see is a lot more resilient and resolute type of Spurs, and especially with the danger men they have up front, there's no reason why they can't play boring football and get results, because the results business. And I reckon, honestly speaking, their ambition, which is the word you mentioned before, first of all, they bottled it from the off-season by interviewing 1,000 managers and picking the 1,001st one.
Well, do you know what? Their first choice was Conte, though. The first choice was Conte. And
that's it. Look, it all works out funny ways if he does end up there. But for me, I think the fact that this could be smart from the board to bring him in, knowing that, look, he's not going to be there for the long term, but if he can help us get over that speed bump and make us back in the conversation again and deliver some short-term success, that doesn't mean winning the Premier League, but if it makes them a force again to be respected, then it'll justify them bringing them back in. Because at the moment, they're slipping more and more into oblivion.
For them?
Top four, I'd say top four.
Over the years, they've been, they've been a staple in the top four. They've hit a fair bit of Champions League football.
And where are they now?
Success for them?
Well, it's recovering their season from where it is now. So top four would be success
for them. Yeah, that would be success. Here's a twist, RJ. I've got a different twist take on it. I know Scott said that they've not historically spent. Daniel Levi, whatever it is, however you pronounce it, has not generally spent. I've got a different twist to this, RJ. I want to see what you have to say and then see what Scott has to say about it as well. Live chat as well. 60 of you guys live. Smash the like button. Let's get the likes up to 60. Aim of the show is to get 100 likes. So let's bump those likes up to 60 straight away. And check out the boys and their socials in the description. Go out there and subscribe to their channel, please. All 60 of you guys. So let's do that. Let's keep up with those likes, ladies and gentlemen. RJ, I feel, knowing Conte, this is the second time around you're going back to him. First time you failed to get him because maybe Conte, I think Conte, there were some quotes, whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. He just said that he didn't believe in the project. He said a lot of stuff and it wasn't going to be backed by Daniel Levy. I feel like second time around that it's happening, I would find it very difficult if Conte is going into the boardroom and saying, "I'll be happy with whatever you give." No, I think he'll demand. He'll be, if you want me as the manager, I want X amount of money being spent in January, and I've got already this player in my mind that I need you to land straight away for me. And if you can't do that, then why are you even bothering contacting me? What am I doing here? What is my purpose of coming to Spurs? And there's talks that it could be a long-term contract. Peterici, who's the Juventus, I believe, sporting director over there.
Paratici,
How do you pronounce that?
Paratici.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's coming to Spurs, and you know, now that they're going back for Conte, I feel, RJ, Daniel Levy will change, I reckon, now, because Spurs fans have had it. They've had it, absolutely had it. The only way you can sort of turn this around is obviously getting yourself a good manager and then financially backing them. I mean, don't you think that's a possibility, or you don't think they're going to spend?
Yeah. And look, I had a wry smile because we all know how good and how strong Tottenham's promises are. You know, they're very good at keeping their word, ask Harry Kane. But look, for me, I think he is someone, again, whether or not they've had a gentleman's agreement behind closed doors to get them out of this situation, I think the scales tip in his favour, knowing that it's little to no risk going in the role because they're a sinking ship. And if it fails, he'll say, well, it was a sinking ship before I got there. They didn't want to spend the money. What could I do about it? But equally, it's all upside because if he turns it around, he gets his credibility back up. Man United could be open the door again. Chelsea are 2-3 bad results away from firing a manager. You know, just hypothetically, there's always a job on the line. Even when there's no jobs on offer, there's always a job on the horizon in management. So for Conte, he goes in there knowing that, as I said before, this is inherently a good squad of players. They're just not firing on all cylinders. If he can come in there with his serial winning swagger and turns things around. Remember, let's rewind the clock back. And Scott, we talked about this offline just then. Nuno was manager of the month. They won their first 3 games 1-0. It was all happy days. They won the title back in August, as we know. Things change quite quickly in football. So for Conte, he's someone that can come in with the pedigree, work with what he's got till January at the least. They might give him some more money to change the situation. But Levy, he's the one that's in a dangerous situation because you can only play hardball for so much. If they keep floating around mid-table mediocrity with no closing of the gap to top 4, that's a lot of revenue to be risked because you don't want to dip into the transfer market. So look, I think Conte goes in there knowing that he's winning the negotiation battle. But yeah, very interesting for sure.
Boys, don't forget, they're in a brand new stadium. Now, you guys have been at the Bridge a long time. You haven't gone through a stadium rebuild. But let me tell you from first-hand experience, the rewards from a brand new stadium don't come instantly. So Spurs would still potentially be feeling the pinch of COVID, the pinch of a new stadium. I don't believe their stadium's fully paid off at this point. So even then, are they going to be in a position to offer Conte what he wants? Now, I'm not trying to disrespect Conte because if United sacked Oli and put in Conte tomorrow, I would say be careful because they could get themselves potentially back into the title race. There's not that much in it yet. Because in that squad, I look at that squad, he's got that top tier player in Ronaldo. I don't think that. I think that Kane has the potential to get there, but he's not there right now, particularly not in his current state. And he has so many weapons in his arsenal at Man United that he could really do something with that squad. But you can't, I won't say the saying fully, but you can't make strawberry jam out of pig poo. We'll say it that way, the nice way. And he's not making any strawberry jam over at Spurs, not with Harry Kane.
I feel, Scott, you do not rate this Spurs team at all.
I don't quite think they're pig. I don't think they're quite pig.
Yeah, I find that very strange. I know you guys have whooped their ass recently, but I don't think they're a bad team.
This is my final point on it. I'll make my final point and I'll leave it to you two. The only way I see Conte really making a mark with Spurs is if he comes in and says to Harry Kane, right, you're going in January. January, I'm letting you go. Man City are going to give me 100 mil for you because they need a striker. Levy's going to give me 100 mil. I'm going to get 100 mil from the Harry Kane sale. If he then has that kind of money to play with, and he's got rid of the toxicity of Kane in the squad, because I do believe it's bringing them down.
This is true, though. I agree with this.
Then I look at him and say,
yeah, go on.
Finish the point for me, Miss. You're about to finish the point. Go for it.
The whole Kane situation, I 100% agree with you, Scott, that there would be toxicity around that. Like, I think even some of his teammates would have expected him to have left by now. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that he's sticking around, the fact that he's not playing well, it definitely would have culminated to some of the issues that they're seeing right now. But on that point about City going for Kane, I don't know if City's going to go back for Kane again. I just feel like that ship has gone. You know, City would have seen this situation and would have said, not interested anymore, to be honest.
It's a time frame thing for me too. Like, I think I agree, and that's what I said earlier about Conte can get in Harry's ear and say, look, whatever happened. I respect you want to go achieve things at other places and what I can't control that. But while I'm here, let's make the most of it, because you saw what I did with Romelu Lukaku. I completely matured his game. Look what I did at Chelsea with Diego Costa and like just in general. So if you stick by me, you can have your best season ever. And come season end, after we achieve what we achieve, and then you can go from there. But give me one season with you. I reckon he's someone, look, I'll say as a Chelsea fan, that first season, he did a madness with us. He completely tore up the Premier League after a game against Arsenal. We were losing 3-0 and bang, we changed it from there on in. And then after that, the second season kicked in. He had some dressing room problems with Costa, etc. But you can't dispute his tactical acumen and his ability to install passion and consistency. And I think that's what Tottenham are missing. But yeah, very interesting, as we said.
All I'll say about Conte is that he's been deemed as a demanding manager. I've got no issues when a manager is demanding. That just means that the manager knows what they want to achieve success. When I look back Conte during our time, RJ, I know he left off in a magnificent manner, like absolutely screwed things up for us. But he didn't get a lot of the players that he wanted. He wanted Romelu Lukaku, ended up getting Morata. He wanted Alexandro, ended up getting XYZ. He wanted, I think, Nyangalang, and ended up getting Bakayoko, and so on and so forth. So the players that he wanted, I'm pretty sure, had he got them, we probably would have won another league title that particular season. But we just didn't want to go in that route. So I don't think Spurs, if they do get Conte, they will talk all of these things out. I don't feel like this should be a surprise in the second season if Conte does make it to the second season that, hey, we can't give you X, Y, and Z. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say, RJ? Like, why would Conte go into a job knowing Levy won't give him the funds or the players that he wants? And then at the same time, why would Conte go into Levy go into an agreement with a manager that's going to be demanding? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you already know each other, and you know what you're going to do to each other, then why get into this agreement? Unless you both have agreed that we won't do what we've done in precedence, we're going to try and do something different now. Does that make sense?
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely. I think, as we like to say in the investment world, what happened yesterday isn't a reliable indicator of what happens tomorrow. So put all of the stuff. Look at Tuchel, the Chelsea situation. Okay, he was at PSG, had domestic success, took them to a Champions League final, had a massive fallout with the PSG board. Everybody, not everyone, but a large portion of Chelsea fans was very skeptical to bring Thomas Tuchel in at the time because they were worried about the way he managed the board dynamic. And Chelsea's obviously very stable with their managerial hiring and firing. So there was always that recipe for disaster. Tuchel's come in. He seemingly learned his lesson. Chelsea, have seemingly learned their lesson of yesteryear, but things change. So I think that's just a good case study about how just because something on face value looks like an unlikely partnership doesn't always materialize like that. So for me, if Conte goes there, A, I'll be upset because he's going to a direct rival. And B, I know the quality he has brought to both my Inter and Chelsea. So for me, I think he's going to add a lot of problems for the other opponents in the Premier League if he comes back to Spurs.
No, for sure. Let's get some final thoughts on this particular matter. Scott, I'll go to you first. As an Arsenal fan, if it does happen, obviously, Nuno's gone, ladies and gentlemen. That thing is confirmed. He's out of Spurs. Spurs are now in line to get a manager. The word is that Conte apparently is in line. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. We'll see. Something will probably happen in the next 24 hours. I'll start with Scott. Scott, as an Arsenal fan, are you worried whatever happens at the Spurs area, or you're sort of thinking, you know what? And we will start talking about Arsenal very soon. Are you sort of in the position where you're thinking, I'm happy where Arsenal's moving at the moment, and I couldn't care less at what Spurs does.
But before I jump into it, just a reminder, smash that like button. There are heaps of you in here at the moment. Hit that like button. And I just want to say thank you to a few people who've jumped over and subbed to mine and RJ's channel.
Thanks, guys.
I love this.
Get Miz to 8K. Get Miz to 8K, by the way. Make it happen.
We've got nearly 150 people live right now, by the way.
100%. So please jump over and help us at our podcast down the bottom. We're trying to get to 500 subs. And Miz, if you don't get to 8K tonight, it's criminal. I'm going to be chasing my...
Conte's not going to Spurs. Or Conte's going to Spurs, whichever way.
But look, my thoughts on that are really Conte going to Chelsea when he did and Conte going to Spurs now are very different things. Very different things. Chelsea have a culture of success. Chelsea have a culture of, you aim here, you hit here, or you're out the door.
Yeah.
Spurs, Conte didn't come into Chelsea and need to build a culture of winning.
Yeah.
A winning mentality is something that's very hard to build. And I honestly think that if Conte comes in, Spurs still won't win a trophy and they still won't be a massive threat. Not until they fix... I'm not even going to bother with that one.
That's a quote. Leave it up there the whole night.
Master Yoda with a master stroke there.
You're very wise, just like Yoda. I would say until they resolve this Harry Kane situation, they won't be making any more Champions League finals. They won't be in title challenges. That needs to be the forefront of their business. It's almost pivotal that they fix that before appointing the manager, because you're setting a manager up to fail again, just like Nuno. So,
but you know
I'm
what?
not worried. This is different.
Yeah. Just quickly, but I agree the Spurs have no winning mentality, or that's a problem for them because they haven't won anything. But for me, I look at what he done at Inter Milan again. For years, Juventus was the only winning horse in that race. We know we had Napoli there. Inter was there or thereabouts, but they were never close enough. Okay, but he went there and they dominated when he was there. So for me, he has not only just taken over teams that have been at the top of the game, Inter Milan were always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Very
So,
different leagues, man. The Premier League and the
but the
Serie A are
notion of
apart.
overtaking that, I don't know, man. I see what you're saying, but I just think he's someone that shouldn't be underestimated to convert almost success to success. That's all I'm saying.
Would you say
Yeah,
he's
go
the
on,
best
Scott.
manager? Was he the best manager in the Serie A when he moved over, RJ?
Better than his competition at the time.
Yeah. Best. I'm not talking about team. I'm talking manager.
Yeah, I
probably
think
say
he's
he
right
was.
up there. He was.
Yeah.
Look
think
at the
so.
Premier League, man. He's coming in. Jurgen Klopp, Pep
True.
Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel. There's no.
Don't disrespect Sufferball, Scott. Do not disrespect Sufferball. When he parks the bus,
Jose Mourinho
when he plays
parked the bus, man.
anti-football.
But he came in at that time too, Scott. Conte came in at that time with Chelsea with those managers still, and he still usurped them. I don't think they're going to be instant title contenders. Let's get that very clear up front. But the goal of success is top four. Is it possible that he can help them now in their situation get to top four? In my mind, yes, it's very possible because it's an open race for that fourth spot. That's why.
As a Chelsea fan, I'm not entirely worried because we are doing our own business and we're going to talk about all of that very soon. All I'm going to say, and this is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, Conte, from the Chelsea experience, he demands a lot from players. He's very animated. He will not hold back. If you're playing rubbish, he will text message you and let you know that you.
I think he'll do more than text message you, mate.
Exactly. He will do everything. He will even throw you under the bus, in the press conference or whatever it needs to be. Do you know what I mean? He'll do that if needs be. And he will publicly showcase all of that. I remember, was it Fabregas and Diego Costa? I think Diego Costa was saying to Antonio Conte, can you bring on Fabregas right now? And Antonio Conte was adamant. He didn't want to bring on Fabregas. He didn't want to. He just didn't like him. And then finally enough, he did bring him. And then Fabregas ended up winning the match for us with Diego Costa. That's the kind of a manager Conte is.
He believes in his principles, doesn't he? Doesn't waver for anyone.
Yeah, believes in his principle and will let you know he believes in his principle. So these Spurs players, they will not get away with what they've been getting away so far under Nuno. I'm telling you, this is probably will be the kick up the backside, that fire up the backside. That's the only thing that I'm worried about because that's what happened to us. When we lost, when it was 3-0 at halftime at the Emirates, he just scrapped all of this 4-2-2, 4-4-2, whatever, 4-4-3-3 BS that we were playing at that time. He cut it all up and said, I'm going to play my way. And from there, we went on to a, 13, 14, 15 game winning streak, something like that. The rest was history. We won the league. So that's all I'm going to say, that he does not take any rubbish. Now, let's talk about some other topics, obviously, in the Premier League. Let's go to Scott. Scott, I feel like I disrespected Arsenal's top four conversations a little bit last week. I'm not saying they're in for a huge shout because it's going to be tough. We'll obviously talk about West Ham as well, but I just saw the table. You're not that far away. And once again, a game where I thought Leicester at home should have done a madness on you guys. Instead, they looked very shaky, although second half, they did pile on the pressure. Ramsdale was just phenomenal in that particular game. But the game isn't played in the second half, in the last 30 minutes. The game was played over the 90. You guys started very well, composed, caught them off guard a few times. Emil Smith-Rowe's goal was just hanging around in the box. No one was marking him. Saka played really well. Aubameyang and Lacazette up front looks really good. I mean, Scott, what's going on? Like, is there a sense of belief? Or, I mean, Aston Villa, good victory. Leicester, good victory. I mean, is something happening?
Look, boys, I said this to you both last week, and I had to passionately plead my case against the two of you that we could challenge for the top four again. you're not going to catch me and have the ability to clip me saying we will make it, because it's going to be tight. And this is what I say about Conte a little bit as well. This is the toughest league in the world. This is the best league. This is a league of champions. So you're seeing that even the teams who people thought were going to get relegated get the drop. Crystal Palace pulling out results, Brighton pulling out results. Like, this is not an easy league, so you don't get given anything. You have to earn every point. So at the moment, what I am seeing is that, and this is my one criticism of Arteta, it takes him too long to realise that something's not working. Emile Smith-Rowe only broke into our team last season because we hit rock bottom and he had to try something. Now we were dipping, we weren't looking sharp. So Lacazette has been recalled into the team.
Yeah.
And to me, he's been a massive catalyst for change because in Arteta's system, he needs someone at the front of the attack who can hold up the ball, bring others into play. Okay? He brings others into play. Aubameyang cannot do that job. Aubameyang's brilliant at many things, but that's not something that he's equipped to do.
He's not a hold-up player. He doesn't hold the ball up, man. Yeah.
It's like buying a Lamborghini and wanting to drive it in 40-kilometer school zones. It's not what it's made for. Yeah, but Lacazette coming in has made Aubameyang look much better.
Yeah.
It's allowed us to shift Saka to the right, which is where he's far more effective. And Emile Smith-Rowe has been given a bit of a license to roam. So to me, Lacazette's been the big catalyst for change. We've got a brilliant centre-back pairing in Gabriel and Ben White. They're not being spoken about enough. There was a lot of dissing of Ben White's signing at the start of the season, but quite frankly, he's got a good partner now. He's not being partnered with Pablo Mari.
I still think 50 million was just over the top. I still think it's over the top.
But you boys should know better than anyone. If you want the player, you've got to pay the price. And sometimes when you're the bigger club in the deal, you get blackmailed a little bit. So quite frankly, I couldn't care. It's not my money. Spent it. Arsenal have been a bit too complacent in the transfer market over the years. So the defense is looking sharp. Aaron Ramsdale, boy, oh boy.
I didn't give him much credit, but he's a shot stopper. He's a shot stopper, that's for sure. He did a madness against Leicester. Let's be honest. That free kick, he had no right to save that free kick.
Save.
That was, it should not have been saved.
You see a whole bunch of people coming in saying, it wasn't that good a save. It's only because he's not as tall as keepers like Mendy or De Gea. But they're just contradicting themselves. Because he's not tall, he has to put more into that save. Like, he has to get himself across the goal. I'm not saying he's the best keeper in the league, because for me, it's Mendy and De Gea. But Ramsdale is well on the up, and he's not far from that position. So I'm really happy with what we're doing. I'm pumped to see us playing good football. The goals are starting to come, and the defense is looking extremely solid.
No, it's interesting. Tom, who got next? Arsenal.
That's a good Watford. We've got Watford, then we've got Liverpool at Anfield.
The point that I liked what you said, Scott, and I want to see what RJ has to say about this. RJ, Scott mentioned that it takes a bit of time for Arteta to realize something's gone wrong and let's react to it. He may think that he's got a solution now, but this solution will be found out very soon and he will need to adapt again. This is where I feel Thomas Tuchel is so shrewd, is so aware. We saw, and we will talk about Chelsea very soon, and the match against Newcastle, the first half, and the complete contrast in the second half, tactical change in the second half. RJ, I feel like this is where Arteta will get caught again. I know he's going through a good run, but then it will be the phase where Lacazette will be found out again, or maybe Aubameyang will be found out, or maybe Saka's game might be compromised, or maybe Emile Smith-Rowe. What do you do then, Mr. Arteta? What do you do then before that situation happens? It's about being proactive as opposed to being reactive. And at times, Arteta is not even reactive straight away. He reacts 4 or 5 games later.
Yeah, he strikes me as someone that's he's someone that's going to be, if he sticks to it, he's someone that's going to be top class. In my opinion, I reckon that He's someone that's very big on his principles. He believes his philosophy, and he finds it very difficult to waver from that, sometimes against his own peril, because you might turn around and say, well, it works for Conte, it works for Sarri, it works for Tuchel. No. The difference between some of these top-class managers and him is they've got runs on the board. He hasn't got any runs on the board. So you can't be so rigid. You need to be flexible and earn that credibility. What he's doing is he's showing that, yes, he is reactive, but through the burns that he suffered, he's showing that there is a good manager hidden behind the shell. But the problem is, Scott said it several times, is Arsenal the right club where you need to earn your stripes? You should already have your stripes fully painted on. But to their credit, they're sticking with him for whatever reason. They're sticking with him, and he's showing that he's got signs of improvement. It's just when push comes to shove, it's a 38-game season. Will the fans continue to be on his side, or will inevitably, when they drop a few games, be back on him like wildfire? And then what do? Do they continue just to play ignorant and put their head in the sand, or do they put their money where their mouth is? Because not so long ago, he was one of the front runners for Arteta out. Forget Ole out. He was the one that was on the chopping block. So, look, it's a good month of October. I'm very keen to see what November, December look like for him. So I'm not reactionary FC here. I don't think he's massively turned the corner. He's won the games that they're expected to not just win, but at least be competitive. The Leicester one was the big test for me. They've passed that one, so thumbs up to them. But it's what they do going forward. His consistency is the key here. But yeah, he's doing well. Can't take it away from him.
Spot on. But you know what? I've heard it over the past, month and a bit. Opposition fans, when we had a couple of good results, saying, "Oh no, Spurs is the real test. We beat Spurs." Then it was just no, Spurs are awful. Then it was Aston Villa. That's a big test. We beat Aston Villa. I was, they were just having a bad game.
But I think it was not on top of that. Test. I think it was Crystal Palace and Brighton games as well. So it wasn't just the test.
Look at Palace. Yeah, look at what Palace are doing under Patrick Vieira. They're not, and look at Brighton. If Brighton can snatch a point from Liverpool,
it's true. Yeah, it's
we've
true.
got no right to demand all 3 points. For me, I'm really looking forward to the match against Liverpool, because we've seen that Liverpool at their best can absolutely embarrass a team. But we also saw from Brighton that they are human. There is a way to snatch a point or points from them.
There's weaknesses. Liverpool have weaknesses. Yeah. I've always said, it's a matter of exploiting. And Tariq Lamptey, Graham Potter knew that it's behind the fullbacks is where the weakness is. But just to close off the Arsenal situation, I saw a comment talking about Xhaka and also Smith Rowe. Just quickly, Scott, without Xhaka, are you what's your feeling? Like, a lot better? What's going on?
I think I'm a believer that there are certain players who are best suited to certain games. And at the moment, we're looking good without Granit Xhaka. If we were to come up again, I actually think in the Liverpool game, Granit Xhaka will probably start. He brings experience. And when he's on, he can be a calming presence in the midfield. I know that sounds odd for a player who's such a hothead. But I look at, for example, and I'm not saying that Xhaka is as good as this guy, but I look at someone like Jorginho. He doesn't necessarily do the glamorous things in a game, so he doesn't always get respect, but he does bring some calm. He passes well. He's a good presence in the middle of the pitch. Xhaka does similar things for us at his level when he's on. But the problem with Xhaka is when he's not having a good game, boy, oh boy, he's not having a horrendous game.
So, what about Partey and Lokonga? I think they've been going pretty good.
Mate, look, they're looking very good. Lokonga has been a great signing. Highly recommended from Vincent Kompany, Thierry Henry. The first game where it was a Partey and Lokonga combination was not very good. It was a poor result. He looked nervous. He looked out of place. But he's grown into his role in the team, and I would have absolutely no problem seeing him start. Xhaka might have to earn his place back. And I was listening to some Arsenal content this morning, and they were saying we've got players now who actually have some competition. Like Granit Xhaka now won't come and waltz back into the team. He has to earn his place. He has to come and fight. Emil Smith-Rowe now knows that if he drops out of form, Martin Odegaard's going to come into the squad. So Saka, if he's not performing,
it's healthy
Nicolas
competition.
Pepe,
Yeah, it's healthy competition.
you need competition. Absolutely.
Even Tomiyasu's been doing really good too. Another really good signing, I think.
Yep. So, look, things are good at the moment, but I'm not letting myself get complacent. Anything could happen in football.
I will only start thinking seriously about Arsenal if I see at least the next 5 to 6 games of good results. Mostly wins, maybe a draw here and there. Then only I can start thinking, okay, because that would potentially put you in top 4. If in the next 5 games, if you, let's say, have 4 wins and a draw, I would think you might even be in the top 4. Because there's so many different changes that happens at the moment. Even Man City, they're 5 behind us, and West Ham's rounding up the top 4. So let's talk about Chelsea, and then we'll talk about West Ham. RJ, I'm so glad that with all the adversities that we've had, and let's be honest, besides the Norwich game, I've not seen us play 90 minutes of consistent, pure football. We are still grinding out wins. We are finding way to win. And especially the Newcastle one, RJ, it felt really good because low block to the most unbelievable manner. We pretty much played. There were times where I saw Rudiger in the final third, like on a regular basis. Thiago Silva and Andres Christensen were literally on the maybe about 15 meters to 20 meters away from the box.
Yeah, the center circle there. Yeah.
The match was in their final third for almost the entirety of the match. And it was so difficult to break them down in the first half. And I was getting frustrated because these are the games where I predicted that's what Newcastle's going to do. They got some speedsters up front. They're going to try and counter us. We got 3 at the back. I wasn't worried. But I was worried is how are we going to break them? I was hoping Ziyech was going to do madness. Ziyech is just having, I don't want to get into that.
He's in struggle town at the moment, isn't he?
He is in struggle town. I don't want to talk about it. It hurts me. It hurts me, honestly. I've talked a lot about it. But RJ, second half, Thomas Tuchel even said, actually, Jorginho today was quoted to say, tactical change was made. And I saw that change in the second half. I don't know about you, RJ. More through the middle to suck the defenders in, get the wide man free. That's why you saw Reece James open and being able to take shots. Credit to Reece James, and his shooting technique is unbelievable. But RJ, how proud are you?
The real RJ. That's right.
The real RJ. The real Reece James right here. How proud are you? No Mason Mount, no Kovacic, no Lukaku, no Timo Werner, no
Mason Mount.
Anyone out there. And we're still plucking out the wins. No Pulisic as well, mind you. RJ, how proud are you of this team, man?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to cry poor here because we're a squad, we're a club that's blessed with a great squad. But ultimately, you're only a great squad if you can go out on the field and demonstrate that. On paper, it means absolutely nothing. So for the fact that they've been able to come in here without some of those more established first teamers I'm just so proud because we had to overcome last minute illnesses, the lack of chemistry between some of these players. But the fact that we knew what we're up against in a Newcastle team that just fired their manager, they know that they're in a precarious situation. We know that they were going to limit our space and frustrate us. We had 79% of possession, which is our highest recorded since 2018, ironically against Newcastle as well last time. So we fully know what the game plan was. They never looked dangerous. They only had, I think, 1 shot on target, which was very meek at best. Never worried. Mendy basically could have went out and just shined his boots all day.
Should have just taken time off at half time. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Could have just watched his Brentford saves all over again. But for him, Rudiger, Christensen and Silva are so important because the way that they recycle the ball and get things moving and allow the players like Chilwell and Reece to get up and really stretch Newcastle was super important, and playing through that middle and getting players like Kai Havertz on the ball more was very important. Hudson-Odoi, again, is someone that's a little bit hit and miss. I do think he is improving with each game, but needs to get more consistent with his application. But Reece James, I'm not surprised that both him and Chilwell are the key to what's working well for us at the moment, because in our particular setup, the wing backs are more like wings than backs, if you know what I mean. Like, they're more influential in the attacking phase because of their positions that they take up and the arrival late into the box. That's
we're trying to free them up as well. They're the extra bodies into the box that's creating havoc at the moment. And they're playing a little bit more inverted as well at times, especially Chilwell playing a little bit more inverted, or a lot more inverted, and Reece James, bit of mixture of inverted and sometimes as wide as possible, but wide inside the box. We're trying to cramp everyone in and allowing him, and that's why he's scoring those beautiful goals from that right side. Scott, I do want to ask you about Chelsea. I still think that City and Liverpool, and this is no, having a dig at Chelsea or anything like that. It's just purely because Pep's been there for a long time. Klopp's been at Liverpool for a long time. So obviously their style has been well drilled. And it feels like they can just pretty much open teams up at their will whenever they want to. I know this season we've scored a lot of goals and whatnot. I'm not taking away from anything from that. But I want to ask you, Scott, I personally still think Chelsea are not hot favourites to win the league. I still think it's Liverpool and City. However, Scott, if we do win, that's a massive slap in the face for Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. And we need to be praising Tuchel a lot, because I don't think we should be winning against those. I feel like they are still a little bit ahead of us.
I don't know, Miz. I don't know. I feel... And RJ is very good at this as well. I like throwing a bit of shade at him. Sometimes he likes to pretend that Chelsea aren't as good as they are, so that if you lose, I didn't say. I said we wouldn't win anyway. But then if
this is coming from the guy that says Arsenal can challenge just to be risk-free. Anyway,
mate, but for us, that's probably our peak. Let's look at your squad. Yes, Yoda. That's what we want to hear, man.
Legend.
Looking forward to seeing you on there, and let's get the likes up on this video too. Plenty
Nearly
of banter
200, guys. Let's get the likes up to 100 straight away. The aim is to get to 100, which is literally about 32 away. But carry on.
100%. But look, I'm not buying it, Miz. I'm not buying this from you, man. You look at your squad. You've got a world-class manager. World-class. Thomas Tuchel is top tier. Lukaku. Havertz. Mason Mount, who to me is going to be the reincarnation of Frank Lampard. You've got the best RJ I know banging in goals for fun. You've got Chilwell, who's good. Not as good as Tierney, but still good. You've got amazing centre backs. You've got probably
I can't believe he threw that in.
Probably the best.
Next to me, he's going to say Smith Rowe's better than Conor Gallagher. That's what we're going to hear.
Well, I don't want to stir up the chat too much. You've got Jorginho, who's being seriously spoken about for a Ballon d'Or. I'm sorry, but Chelsea need to be at the minimum. The minimum is to be no more than maybe 6 points off a title at the end of the season. Anything less for me, I would look at that as Chelsea.
Though, Scott? Thomas Tuchel hasn't even been at Chelsea for more than 12 months yet. It's still less than 12 months. So it does take a little bit of time to... I know we've got excellent individual players. There's no doubt about that. But in order to gel a philosophy and a style, it takes a little... Like this season, we're starting to see the wing-backs play a little bit more inverted and have that say. We're starting to see overlapping CBs with Rudiger. So do you know what I'm trying to say, Scott? Like, Liverpool and Man City are a little bit more,
Yeah.
not a little bit more, a lot
And
more
I have
drilled.
to add to it. Yeah, and I have to add to this because I've always accepted responsibility. Okay, first of all, I said that Chelsea should accept responsibility. Tuchel even said it himself.
Scott's cheeky. Scott's so
He
cheeky.
knows we're not here. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. But secondly, let's rewind the clock back. Last season, City dominated the league. United second or whatever it was, and you got Liverpool right there and thereabouts. We were so far off there. We've upgraded with one player, Lukaku, who's now injured. How do we all of a sudden become the best team in the country? But what you're saying, you've named Jorginho, you've named Mason Mount. All of these players were there last season, and we just scraped top 4. So the fact now that we have to be automatic title contenders.
You had a fraud of a manager for part of the season too.
Sack him now.
Boys, look, listen, I'm not buying excuses with your team.
It's context, mate.
Let's compare. All right, let's compare Liverpool and Chelsea. I think you both got top tier starting lineups. You know what the difference is? You have depth. Liverpool don't have depth. If they can manage to get through the African Cup of Nations unscathed, they've done very well.
But they got Van Dijk back from injury. He's their best player. They bought Konate.
You told me that Christensen is Maldini reincarnated. Like you've told me how good this guy is.
And he's showing it.
He's brilliant. You've got Rudiger, who is top class. There's no excuses to me. Both your starting lineups.
Yeah, but we don't have a Salah and a Mane, man. We don't have a Salah and Mane that just bangs in goals.
You've got to look. Hold on. After the Arsenal match earlier in the season, Chelsea fans were waxing lyrical about what Lukaku was doing. We were all doing it. I was doing it. You've got Lukaku, who is a top-class player. I don't think you should downplay Chelsea's chances. You've got maybe their starting lineup is slightly better because of Mo Salah. But your depth is significantly better for me.
But look at United. Even United, they're individual personnel, awful manager. But Man City, brilliant manager, and they've upgraded with Jack Grealish, £100 million player. Yeah, but they've still got an awesome attack. They had that attack last season and improved with Grealish. So why are they awful?
But look at Liverpool, right? Liverpool, no depth. Chelsea, I don't really know what your main weakness is. You might say you don't have that top-tier superstar like Mo Salah. Man City, no striker. Their attack almost has to be one-dimensional without that second option of having a striker. United, garbage manager. Every one of the top teams has some kind of deficit. To me, the title is going to come right down to the wire, and it's going to be about which one of those teams can best circumvent their weakness. And I think Chelsea are real front runners to do that.
For sure.
I honestly think Chelsea should be there.
Look, we're in the title mix. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just saying that, are we the favourites to win it? That's the question that I'm throwing out there. This particular comment from Aditya Sharma, yes, Scott, I agree Miz is downplaying how good our squad is. I'm not downplaying our squad. Let me just correct that. I'm saying the style of football that Tuchel wants to play will take a bit of time. I don't think Thomas Tuchel has yet played completely to how he wants to play. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola have been in City and Liverpool respectively for what? Pep's 5th season, Klopp's 6th season. Scott talks about their depth, especially Liverpool. I don't see that as a weakness because I feel like whoever comes in, and I'm not saying that they'll just bang in goals like Salah, it's seamless for them. They just know the role. They know the role. The system is so drilled inside them. Press, counter press, whipping crosses, go wide, create chaos in the box. Like, it seems like it doesn't matter the personnel, it's the system. Liverpool seems to be doing that week in, week out. And I know Salah at the moment is banging in the goals, but I still think even if you take Salah out in the African Nations Cup and whoever comes in, they'll still manage to get wins. That's what I'm saying. They may not score as many goals as what Salah's doing now, but they will still manage to win games. The reason being is because of their philosophy and their system. Every single player till the final player in that squad understands it. I feel, and I want to see what Arja has to say about this before we go to West Ham. I feel we're still a bit far away from that. And we see that when we play the Carabao Cup matches. We see that when we play all these other competitions that these other teams are probably outplaying us, but we're getting away. Yes, when we do play with our front 11, the top 11, we look good. But the depth that we have, yes, it's excellent, but it still hasn't drilled in.
There is a gulf. And to me, I'll add in, yes, we have, like I said before, on paper, good squad. When you take out the top tier players, and you mentioned them before, no Romelu, no Mason Mount, no Pulisic when he's fit, no Timo Werner when he's fully fledged. When you bring in players like Malang Sarr, when you bring in out of form players like Hakim Ziyech, they are not of the same caliber. So yes, the squad is good, but at the same time, you need that chemistry. And sometimes the problem with too big of a squad is you actually have challenges in optimizing the best harmony and your best 11 because you've got too many good players to manage. And for us, we are getting results, which is the number one takeaway and why we should be in the title favourite conversation.
Yes.
But until we demonstrate, like City, like Liverpool, that we have the nous to win the Premier League with the current crop of players, then we can't go out and out say we are the favourite. So I won't be drawn into that.
No. And this is how I feel as well. Look, don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Nearly 200 of you guys are live. Smash the like button. Let's get the likes up to 100, and then anything after that is a bonus. We're 18 away. And guys, do not forget to subscribe to my boys RJ and Scott's channel. It's in the description. I honestly, sincerely ask you guys to go and subscribe to them. You're going to see a lot more of this. We are here on a weekly basis every Monday, 11 a.m. UK. So obviously you can catch us here, but the boys are running their show as well. Please go and follow them. But yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted. We are in the title mix. There is no doubt about that. All I'm saying is if we win, we better praise Thomas Tuchel so much because I feel Pep and Klopp should be a step ahead because of all the years that they've spent already in their club. That's all I'm saying. Scott, let's talk about West Ham. Wow. These guys, I thought last season was just, fluke of a season. This season, they'll just fall off. They are good, man, under David Moyes. They're very good. Antonio up front, Said Ben Rahma. Then they've got Fornals, Bowen, Declan Rice.
Suchek, Declan, Johnson.
Chelsea fan base drooling over Declan Rice on a regular basis. Well, I can understand he's a very good player. There's no doubt about that. Suchek. Then they've got Bowen. Kurt Zuma's doing madness over there. I mean, Scott, should we be taking them seriously? I know last week you said, is West Ham really going to be sticking around for a top four? But I don't know, man. I think they may.
Look, I have to say, maybe I've not given the Hammers the respect that they're showing they deserve. And you speak about managers who have a system and have a team that play with their identity. We're seeing that from Moyes.
Yeah.
That West Ham team.
That process and all of that, huh?
It's
Follow
certainly
the process,
not
patience.
It's not a superstar team. Like, you look at their starting lineup, and just to stir up the Chelsea fans, let's pretend Rice isn't there. But you'd kind of wonder how many of those players would make Chelsea's fully fit starting lineup. Same with maybe City and Liverpool. However, as we've said about Brighton in the past, if the manager is there and has a system and the players buy into the system, you're going to get good results. So they're doing that. I still do think they will fall off. For some reason, I just can't get my head past United sneaking back to fourth. I know that sounds insane at this point in time, but I can't shake that feeling. I do think they'll slip, but if they can qualify for any form of European football, I think that's a massive achievement and a massive stepping stone
They're
for
also
West
in the
Ham. 'Cause
Europa
Arsenal-
League as well, Scott. They're in the Europa
Yeah,
League.
yeah. And if they
Possibly go and get that.
can retain that, though, it becomes a part of a culture, right? It becomes an expectation. If West Ham can get into the Europa League again next season, they've now had a couple of seasons back to back, and they're seen by maybe other players and clubs as a team that plays regular European football.
You're attractive. You're an attractive destination for people.
100%. So I think they're a work in progress still, but absolute credit to David Moyes.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be around a European spot. I think similar to Arsenal, they certainly could challenge for a top 4 spot. Certainly could.
RJ, West Ham, out of all the games that are coming up, I don't know when West Ham's coming up, I will take that team very seriously, man, because not only our recent record hasn't been that great against West Ham. I don't remember what we did last season. I don't think did we beat them? Can't recall. Under Frank Lampard, we had a win, I think 3-0, but that wasn't.
And we had that loss 3-2. Remember Yarmolenko when he turned Rudiger out, and
that was I think the season before that. But
we had the 3-0 win, remember, and it was actually very unwarranted. I remember Tammy Abraham was with us still and played, but at the time they gave us a real run for our money. But look at them now; they continue. Moyes is very understated, underappreciated, but he's someone he commands a lot of respect through the hard work ethic, and he knows how to really tap into the players and maximize their value and really push them to their full capacity and capability. So I think, as I always like to say, a star team is greater than a team of stars, and he's really, really showing that to be true with what he's doing at the Hammers there. And you look at players like Antonio, Fornals, like I said, Souček and Rice, we know he's a quality player, but even bringing in Kurt Zouma was a smart sign. Cresswell, how good has Cresswell been going? Nobody's talking him up enough.
What about Bowen, the guy who's just come in for Sufal? Like
even Johnson, he scored that cracker before. Like he just cut in.
Ben Johnson. That's
he came in off the left and straight into the bottom corner. Scott's best mate Martinez couldn't keep that out, but I'm sure he loved that moment, by the way. But just in terms of what the culture, what's happening there at West Ham, I was looking at their fixtures just to sort of get a sense of where can they be coming up to the Christmas period. So they've got Genk coming up in Europa. They've got a really tough game. And you talked about, I want to get a gauge of where Arsenal's at, given their mini resurgence. They've got Liverpool on the 8th of November. That's going to be a low-key, cracking match to see what Moyes can do to suppress Liverpool. I think they could give them a few worries. Then they've got Wolves before going back to Europa, and then round out November with Manchester City. So, in short, if they can survive this November period and keep themselves in that top 4, top 6 conversation, that's really going to push them on through to a nice Christmas period.
Don't forget, they knocked out Man City in the Carabao Cup as well.
Correct.
They're in for
they're doing some wonders there at the moment. So don't sleep on West Ham just yet.
No, 100%. Don't sleep on them. Ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much brings us till the end of the show. If you've missed all the conversation about Nuno, Conte, Spurs, please check back from the beginning. We talked about Arsenal, we talked about Chelsea, we talked about West Ham. These were the biggest sort of topics to talk about this particular Premier League weekend. Obviously, there were all these other matches. Liverpool had a draw against Brighton. Tariq Lamptey was phenomenal. Crystal Palace against Man City. Conor Gallagher, brilliant as well. But do check out some of my other videos where I covered some of those information. We're only about 7 likes away from 100 likes. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more.
How many subscribers have you got, Miz, by the way?
Pretty sure I probably would have hit 8,000. Let's have a look.
Wow. Come on. Did it happen? Make sure you happen, boys and girls watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe.
8,005. There you go. Thank you so much. We've hit 8,005. Thank you.
Beautiful.
What a milestone. Finally, we've got to 8,000. Road to 10K is on. It's been fantastic. The boys and myself, we've absolutely enjoyed this conversation. Do smash the like button before you go. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. I probably might drop another video later in UK evening, maybe 9 p.m.-ish. So do look out for that. The boys and their channel, please check out the information in the description. Go and follow them. Over 150 of you guys are there. I would love all 150 of you guys, go to the description, click the button, and subscribe to the boys. You're going to see a lot more content from them. What you see,
Miz, can you do me one thing?
Yeah, man.
Because this live chat tonight has just been buzzing, absolutely buzzing. You've hit 8K. We're nearly at the 100 likes. Can you show the people our page for me, my man? Click that link. Give them a look.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Help RJ and I get in.
And we're on there tomorrow night. For those in the chat who aren't aware, so Scott, myself, and Rob, who's our Manchester United co-host, we stream every Tuesday and Thursday talking all things Premier League. I'm endeavouring to have a Chelsea monthly breakdown show in about 9 hours' time. I'm just confirming final details. So if you subscribe, you'll catch us early AM Australian time or late UK time, but that's the channel description that Miz is showing on the screen now. But just to give you a bit of a background what we're about, we talk Premier League, and we continue to good times rolling.
So, ladies and gentlemen, all you do is basically, as I showed in the description, scroll down and you hit the link, and it takes you to this lovely page, the It's a Football Thing podcast, and you hit the subscribe button right there. And it's happy days. We've still got over 145 people live. So please, ladies and gentlemen, do that for us. It would mean the world to us. Master Yoda, nice one. Well deserved, miss. Thank you so much. AKA, big up. Thank you so much. Master Yoda was saying, do we cover any other sports? Unfortunately, we don't. Football is the only thing that we cover here. I don't know. I've been sort of thinking about maybe another channel to cover cricket down the track, but I'll see. It's a whole different ball game there. Maybe 2020s and whatnot. They do get a bit exciting. So, but we'll see. At the moment, it's just too much content in football. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, everyone. See ya.